The first time my son looked me dead in the eye and called me a burden. He was standing in the doorway of the house I'd paid off with 32 years of overtime shifts. The second time, he handed me $11 in coins and told me not to come back. Rain hammered the driveway in Parramatta so hard it bounced off the concrete like shattered glass. I stood there holding a Coles shopping bag with 2 shirts, my blood pressure tablets, and an old photo of my wife Hannah. Behind my son, the hallway light glowed warm and yellow. Home looked exactly the same, except suddenly, I wasn't part of it anymore. Dad, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Harder. I stared at him. At the kid I taught to ride a bike near Bicentennial Park. The kid who used to crawl into our bed after nightmares. You're seriously kicking me out? His jaw tightened. You've got the caravan. The caravan's rotting at Windsor. It still works. I almost laughed. Instead, I looked past him toward the kitchen, toward Melissa. My daughter-in-law stood near the sink, pretending not to listen. She never liked me. Not openly. Hannah saw it years ago, said Melissa smiled with her mouth, not her eyes. Then my grandson appeared around the corner. Pop? Liam's tiny voice nearly broke me. Before I could answer, Jake stepped forward and shut the door. Just like that, 32 years building a family. And it ended with the sound of a lock clicking shut. I spent the night in the caravan park near Penrith, beside a couple of tradies drinking bourbon from paper cups. The caravan smelled like mold and dead heat. I lay awake staring at the ceiling while rain drummed overhead. Jake hadn't even asked why the bank kept calling me. That part ate at me, because for the past week, Commonwealth Bank had rung nearly 12 times a day asking for Hannah. Always Hannah. The problem was, Hannah had been dead for 8 months. At first I thought it was some mistake with her old account, but the calls kept getting stranger. Mr. Turner, we urgently need verification regarding the card activity. What activity? Silence. Then they'd transfer me, or hang up. The strange part wasn't the calls. It was the fear in their voices, like they weren't chasing debt, like they were terrified. Around 2:14 in the morning, my mobile buzzed again. Private number. I nearly ignored it. Yeah? A woman whispered. Mr. Turner, who's this? You need to listen carefully. Is anyone with you? I sat up slowly. No. A shaky breath crackled down the line. This line may not be secure. What the hell is this about? It's your wife's card. My chest tightened instantly. Hannah's dead. I know. The woman sounded panicked now. Mr. Turner, the card was used tonight. Every hair on my arms lifted. That's impossible. It was used at a service station in Newcastle 3 hours ago. I gripped the phone harder. You've got the wrong person. We don't. You're telling me a dead woman bought fuel? No. Her voice dropped lower. She withdrew $4,000 cash. My pulse began thudding behind my eyes. That card was destroyed after the funeral. I know. Silence swallowed the line. Then she whispered the sentence that changed everything. The security footage shows your wife. I nearly dropped the phone. That's not funny. We're trying to help you. Who are you? Another silence. Then, quietly. My name's Claire. I work fraud investigations. And someone inside the bank told us to bury this. What? There are transactions linked to accounts that shouldn't exist anymore. Dead customers. Dormant accounts. Your wife's card triggered something bigger. I stood from the caravan bed so fast my knees cracked. What are you talking about? I can't explain over the phone. You need to come to Sydney tomorrow morning. Circular Quay branch, 9:30 exactly. And if I don't? Her breathing shook. Then they'll know I contacted you. Who will? Before she answered, I heard another voice faintly in the background. A man sharp, angry. Claire suddenly whispered, "Don't trust your son." The line went dead. I stared at the phone while rain slammed against the caravan roof. Then another message appeared. Unknown number. Just 6 words. She never told you the truth. I didn't sleep after that message. I sat inside the caravan, watching dawn creep over the soaked park. while my head replayed the same sentence over and over. Don't trust your son. By 7:30, I was driving the old Hilux down the M4 towards Sydney, with my stomach twisted so tight I thought I'd vomit. Traffic crawled near Homebush. Every second car looked suspicious. Every white ute in my mirror made my pulse jump. Hannah had been dead 8 months. I'd watched them lower her coffin into the ground at Rookwood Cemetery myself. So either someone was playing a sick game with me, or my entire life had been built on lies. The circular Quay branch sat beneath a tower of polished glass overlooking the harbour. Expensive suits moved in and out like clockwork. I felt filthy walking inside wearing yesterday's jeans. The receptionist smiled automatically. Appointment? Claire. Fraud department. Her smile vanished for half a second. Then she typed something quickly and picked up the phone. She'll come get you. I noticed security watching me almost immediately. Not casually, closely. A bloke near the lifts touched his earpiece while staring straight at me. 10 minutes later, a woman appeared from a side corridor, mid-30s, blonde hair, tied back, tight, pale face, nervous eyes. Mr. Turner? Claire looked nothing like I imagined. She looked exhausted. She led me through secure doors into a small meeting room with no windows. The second the door shut, she locked it. Actually locked it. You came alone? Yes. Did anyone follow you? I don't bloody know. She nodded like she expected that answer. Then she slid a folder across the table. Inside were printed bank statements, dozens of them, all under Hannah's name. Transactions dated after her death, petrol stations, hotels, cash withdrawals, ferry terminals, restaurants around Newcastle and the Central Coast. My hands started shaking. That's impossible. Claire leaned forward carefully. Mr. Turner, according to these transactions, your wife has been alive for 8 months. I slammed the folder shut. No. I verified the footage myself. No, you didn't. She looked older, thinner. But it was her. Anger exploded through me so suddenly I stood up hard enough to knock the chair backward. My wife died in Westmead Hospital. Claire didn't flinch. Did you see the body? The room went dead silent. I opened my mouth, then stopped, because the truth was, no, not properly. Hannah died after complications from surgery. By the time I arrived, they told me she'd already been moved downstairs. They warned me not to remember her that way. Jake handled most of the paperwork because I was barely functioning. I slowly sat back down. Claire watched my face carefully. That's what I thought. My voice cracked slightly. What is this? She hesitated. Then she pulled out another photograph. Security camera still, grainy. A woman wearing sunglasses and a grey hoodie standing at a Newcastle ATM. I stopped breathing. Even blurry, I knew that posture, that tilt of the shoulders. Hannah. Oh my God. She withdrew cash 3 nights ago. I stared at the image until my vision blurred. She wouldn't do this to me. Claire looked genuinely conflicted now. I don't think she's working alone. What's that supposed to mean? Instead of answering, she opened another file. This one had Jake's name on it. My chest tightened instantly. There've been transfers, she said quietly. Large ones. How large? Over $400,000 across 6 months. I laughed in disbelief. My son doesn't have that kind of money. He does now. I felt cold all over. No. We traced multiple deposits through accounts connected to your wife's card activity. You're saying Jake's involved. I'm saying your son's been receiving money from someone pretending to be dead. My thoughts spiraled violently. Jake paying off debt suddenly. Melissa quitting her job. The new Range Rover. The Bali holidays. Jesus Christ. I never questioned any of it. Claire rubbed her temples like she hadn't slept in days. There's more. No kidding. She lowered her voice. 3 people connected to these accounts have disappeared. I stared at her. What? 1 bank employee. 2 account holders. You think they're dead? I think someone's cleaning things up. Before I could answer, voices erupted outside the meeting room. Male voices, fast and aggressive. Claire's face drained of color. Oh no. What? She stood instantly. You need to leave. Right now. The door handle suddenly rattled hard. Then a voice barked from outside. Claire, open the door. She looked at me with pure panic. That voice, I whispered. I knew it. It was my son. Claire killed the lights instantly. The room dropped into darkness except for the faint strip of Harbour light bleeding beneath the door. My heartbeat slammed so hard against my ribs it hurt. Jake rattled the handle again. Claire. Calm voice. Controlled. That frightened me more than shouting would've. Claire grabbed my arm and dragged me toward another door, hidden behind a filing cabinet. Her hands were trembling. There's a stairwell, she whispered. Don't stop for anyone. What the hell is my son doing here? She ignored the question and pushed the hidden door open. Cold concrete air rushed into the room. Then Jake's voice came again. I know he's in there. Claire shoved a USB stick into my palm. If anything happens to me, take that to the police. You still haven't told me what's going on. Her eyes met mine. Your wife found something she wasn't supposed to. Then the meeting room door exploded open behind us. Claire pushed me hard. Run. I stumbled into the stairwell as men's voices erupted behind me. The hidden door slammed shut just before someone shouted, "Where is he?" I ran down 20 flights of concrete stairs with my knees screaming and my lungs burning. Halfway down, I heard footsteps above me. Fast, coming closer. I burst through the exit onto a side street near George Street and nearly got cleaned up by a taxi. Horns blasted. Pedestrians swore at me. I kept moving without looking back. My phone started ringing. Jake. I ignored it. Again. Then a text came through. Dad, stop running. We need to talk. Another message followed instantly. You don't understand what Mom did. I stopped dead beside a cafe. People brushed past me, carrying coffees while the entire world suddenly felt tilted sideways. What Mom did. Not what happened to Mom, I called him. Jake answered immediately. Where are you? Tell me the truth. Heavy silence. Then he sighed. Dad, this isn't safe over the phone. You threw me out. I was trying to protect you by making me homeless. You were asking questions. My jaw tightened. So you're admitting it? No. I'm telling you Mom got involved with dangerous people. I almost laughed from disbelief. Hannah worked at a bloody pharmacy. She also moved money. The words hit like a brick. No. She found accounts the bank was hiding. Dead clients whose funds were still active. Someone inside was siphoning millions. I pressed against the wall, dizzy. Mom uncovered it by accident. At first. And then. Jake's voice lowered. She started helping them. I felt physically sick. You're lying. She said it was temporary. She said we'd finally have enough money to breathe. I remembered Hannah crying over electricity bills, hiding overdue notices from me, selling jewelry without telling me. God, how long did you know? A year. Rage exploded through me. A year? I tried to stop her. You let me bury an empty coffin? That wasn't my choice. People nearby started staring at me now. I didn't care. Where is she? Jake hesitated too long, then quietly. Alive. The word nearly destroyed me. Put her on the phone. I can't. Why not? Because they're watching her. Cold fear slid down my spine. Who? Jake didn't answer immediately. When he finally spoke, his voice sounded smaller. Dad, there are people inside the bank, police, even government contracts tied into this. Money laundering, identity recycling, fake death claims. Mom wanted out after she realized how deep it went. And now, they think she stole from them. I closed my eyes. The harbor wind cut between the buildings, freezing against my skin. How much money? Jake exhaled shakily. Almost 2 million. I nearly dropped the phone. That's impossible. She moved it before disappearing. And where is it now? Another silence. Then, that's why they're hunting us. Before I could respond, someone grabbed my shoulder hard from behind. I spun violently. A tall man in a navy suit stood inches from my face, entrance blank. professional, terrifying. "Mr. Turner," he said calmly, "you need to come with me." I backed away instantly. "Who are you?" He reached inside his jacket slowly. Not for a weapon, for a badge. But it wasn't police. It carried no department name, only a silver emblem I didn't recognize. My stomach dropped. Then he said the one sentence that made my blood run cold. "Your wife's alive because we allowed it." The man guided me into a black sedan, parked beside the overseas passenger terminal. Like this happened every day. No sirens, no threats. That scared me more. Sydney Harbour glittered outside the tinted windows, while tourists wandered around, taking photos completely unaware. My entire life was collapsing in the back seat of that car. The driver pulled away silently. The suited man sat beside me with his hands folded calmly. "Am I under arrest?" "No." "Then stop speaking to me like I'm some criminal." His expression never changed. "You're collateral damage, Mr. Turner." I clenched my jaw. What does that even mean? It means your wife made decisions that affected people far more dangerous than herself. The car merged onto the Cahill Expressway. I looked toward the Opera House, trying to steady my breathing. Hannah worked in a pharmacy. She also facilitated identity transitions. I stared at him. "What?" He finally looked at me directly. "Certain financial clients require disappearance." "That's insane." "Is it?" He reached into a leather folder and handed me photographs. Hannah entering buildings, Hannah meeting strangers, Hannah carrying bags of documents. Dates spanning nearly 2 years. Every image felt like another knife twisting deeper. "You monitored her this whole time?" She became a liability. I looked closer at one photo. Jake was in it, standing beside her. My son knew everything. The betrayal hollowed me out from the inside. "What do you want from me?" The man's tone stayed perfectly controlled. Mrs. Turner moved funds before vanishing. "We want the location." "I don't know anything about money." "We believe you do." "I bloody don't." His eyes narrowed slightly. "Your wife trusted you more than anyone." "No," I snapped bitterly. "Apparently she didn't." That finally triggered the smallest reaction from him. Sympathy almost. "She wanted to tell you." I laughed harshly. "She let me think she was dead. She believed it was the only way to keep you alive." The sedan turned into an underground car park somewhere in the CBD. Concrete swallowed the daylight. Suddenly my phone vibrated again. "Jake." The suited man noticed instantly. "Answer it." I hesitated. "Now." I picked up. Jake sounded panicked. "Dad, listen carefully. Are you alone?" The suited man stared at me silently. "Yes, that's a lie." Jake whispered immediately. "They found you, didn't they?" I said nothing. Jake swore under his breath. "Dad, whatever they tell you, don't trust them." The suited man calmly reached over and ended the call himself. Then he removed the SIM card from my phone and snapped it clean in half. "You people are insane." "No," he replied quietly. "We're efficient." He escorted me through a lift into an office level with no signage, frosted glass. Quiet hallways, no company logos anywhere. Every person inside looked tense, bussy. Watching the suited man open the door at the end of the corridor, and I stopped breathing. Hannah sat at the table inside, alive, real. Her hair was shorter now, grayer, face thinner. But it was her. My knees nearly gave out. "Hannah." She looked up slowly and started crying instantly. The door shut behind me. For several seconds neither of us moved. 8 months of grief crashed into me all at once. The funeral, the loneliness, sleeping beside an empty space in bed, talking to her photo like an idiot. "You're alive." My voice broke completely. Hannah covered her mouth with shaking hands. "I'm so sorry." I wanted to hold her. I wanted to scream at her. Instead, I stood frozen. Why? Her eyes filled with devastation. "Because they said they'd kill you." I looked back toward the closed door. "What are they?" "They're cleaners." "What does that mean?" "It means when powerful people need problems erased. These people erased them." She looked terrified even speaking. "They used dead identities to move money globally." bank accounts belonging to deceased clients, insurance payouts, government funds, hundreds of millions. And you helped. Tears rolled down her face. At first I didn't know what it was. But Jake knew. She nodded slowly. They threatened Liam. My chest tightened instantly. Oh God, they said if we went to police, they'd make our grandson disappear. Silence filled the room. Then I asked the question destroying me inside. The money. Did you steal it? Hannah looked down. Yes. I stared at her in disbelief. $2 million. I had to. Why? She lifted her eyes toward me. Because I found out what they were planning to do to you. Ice spread through my body. What are you talking about? Hannah's face crumpled completely. You were never supposed to stay alive after my funeral. Then the office lights suddenly cut out. Darkness swallowed the room. And somewhere down the corridor, people started screaming. Emergency lights flooded the hallway red. The building erupted into chaos outside the room. Doors slammed. Someone yelled for security. Another voice screamed something about the servers being wiped. Hannah grabbed my arm hard. We have to go now. What's happening? Jake. The way she said his name told me everything. My son had started this. We rushed into the corridor, where staff were running in every direction. Smoke drifted from somewhere deeper inside the office. Sprinklers hadn't activated yet, but the sharp smell of burning plastic filled the air. The suited man who brought me there appeared at the far end of the hallway. He saw Hannah instantly, then me. His calm expression finally cracked. Stop them! 2 security blokes charged toward us. Hannah pulled me through a side exit into a concrete stairwell. We stumbled downward together while alarms screamed overhead. My knees felt ready to collapse, but adrenaline kept me moving. You knew Jake would come, I gasped. He's been planning this for months. To save you, to finish it. We burst into the underground car park, where cars sat abandoned under flashing red lights. Somewhere above us, sirens echoed through the city. Then a figure stepped from behind a pillar, Jake breathing hard, sweat across his forehead. Holding a backpack. For a second, he looked like the little boy who used to wait for me outside school. Then I remembered the lies, the funeral, the door slamming in my face. You used me, I said. Jake's eyes filled instantly. No, Dad. You let me think Mom was dead. I was trying to keep you away from this. You threw me out with $11 bloody. His voice cracked. Because they were watching the house. Hannah stepped between us quickly. Enough. We don't have time. Jake lifted the backpack. The drives are here. Account records, names, transfers, everything. I stared at him. You stole the evidence? I copied it. Why? Jake looked directly at me. Because they killed people, Dad. Silence hit hard. They killed Mom's friend Claire this morning. My stomach dropped. No. Jake nodded shakily. She called you because she knew they were closing in. For a moment none of us spoke. Then tires screeched somewhere nearby. Headlights swung into the car park entrance. Black SUVs, 3 of them. Jake's face drained of color. We have to move. The suited man emerged behind the vehicles, surrounded by armed security. No one's leaving, he called calmly. The entire car park froze. Hannah squeezed my hand so tightly it hurt. The suited man looked almost disappointed. You could have disappeared quietly. Jake stepped forward before either of us could stop him. You already took enough. The man's expression hardened. You have something that doesn't belong to you. Jake glanced back at us. Then he made a decision. He tossed me the backpack. Dad, run. Before I could react, Jake sprinted in the opposite direction. Jake! Hannah screamed. Security chased after him immediately. The suited man swore and followed. Everything exploded into motion. Hannah dragged me toward a fire exit while shouting echoed through the concrete levels behind us. Then came a deafening bang. Gunshot. Hannah stopped dead. I felt my soul leave my body. No, another shout echoed through the garage. Then silence heavy. Final Hannah broke completely beside me. collapsing against the wall with a sound I never want to hear again for the rest of my life. But footsteps were already returning. We ran. Out into the freezing Sydney night. Across traffic near Circular Quay, sirens everywhere now, police flooding the streets, reporters gathering, panic spreading. By dawn, every major news channel in Australia carried the same headline: Massive financial laundering operation exposed, government investigations launched, multiple arrests expected. Anonymous evidence leaked overnight. They called it one of the biggest banking scandals in Australian history. But none of that mattered to me. 3 weeks later, Hannah and I stood beside a fresh grave in Rookwood Cemetery while rain drizzled softly across the stone. Jake Turner, 1989-2026. Hannah cried quietly beside me. I couldn't, not anymore, because the truth was my son betrayed me, then sacrificed himself to save us. As we turned to leave, I noticed something tucked beneath the flowers on Jake's grave, an envelope. My hands shook opening it. Inside was $11 in coins, and a note in Jake's handwriting. For the bus ride home, Dad, love you.